What's up, everybody? I'm Isaac Hollick, the Northwest Videographer Photographer, and today we are looking at the GVM 50RS bicolor RGB LED light panel. Man, that was a mouthful. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I am not going to do an unboxing. There's plenty of unboxing videos. I'm going to talk about this light from the perspective of a working professional who's been using it for quite a while. So I want to talk about this light from two different perspectives. I want to talk about it from an RGB perspective, then I want to go ahead and talk about it from a bicolor perspective. So let's talk about the RGB first, because that's probably the reason that you're buying this light as opposed to just a regular bicolored light, is because you want the RGB effects. Now, I am using it right now to light my background. I have it behind me here, and just as a note, I am using the Diffuse softbox, which is absolutely amazing. As far as I'm concerned, it's a must-have for this light, because it does have some problems. It's not all 5 stars like everybody makes it out to be. So right now I'm using it to light my background, and one of the things that I love about this light is that you can get multiple colors and lighting effects. You can create any color of light, but as you're probably noticing right now, it's really light and kind of washed out. Now, the saturation and the brightness is at 100%. Now, that's one of the problems with this light. Now, I'm shooting at 24p with a shutter speed of 50 at 2.8, which is probably one of the most common shooting settings for videographers among professionals. I've got a key light and a rim light, which is also pretty common in any kind of lighting setup. And that's one of the problems with this light, is that when you get any kind of competing light source, it completely washes out any and all saturation of the color. So to show you what I'm talking about, let me go ahead and stop down so you can see what the color of the light should really look like. And you can see now that the light is nice and saturated, and it's a nice cool color, but I'm not exposed at all. Like, you can't see me one bit. You get this nice red, and now you can start to see the full array of the colors and how they should look. But like I said, as soon as if I want to expose myself properly, that's funny. If I want to expose myself, yes. So anyways, if I want my exposure to be set properly, then it completely washes out the color, and it also limits my color choices, because as you can see now, our red is like a orange, yellow, pink, and the most of the red hue's gone, and the yellow is pretty much not yellow, and the green is really not usable either. So it really limits your color choices. So if you're going to try and use this to set a solid background color, you're probably going to need 2, maybe even 3 of these lights to get the effect that you're going for. One of my favorite things to do with this light is just create a nice rim light effect. It works wonderful for that. But as far as trying to light up an entire background to give you different effects, I mean, you can still do it like I am, just be aware that it's not going to look like it does on all the reviews that you've seen of this light, where they just point the light at a wall and shine it without any other competing light sources. When you actually use this in a professional setup, it's got some problems. One of my favorite things about this light in the RGB setting is that it has really good dimming. As you can see, it goes basically to nothing, and then it gets nice and bright, which I really like. I use this light at 1 and 2% all the time. Like when I want a rim light effect on myself or something like that. So as you can see in this footage here, I used it for this product video when I was shooting the B-roll footage for the Panasonic FC2500, and it added a really, really nice lighting effect. There's no end to the creative uses for something like this when it comes to product lighting, and lighting small tabletop sets and things like that. This light is incredible. One of the high points of this light is the battery life. The Sony NP970 batteries, those things, I can power and use the light in the studio for 4 or 5 days before I have to recharge the batteries. So if you have 2 sets of 970s, you won't even need to use the power plug for this. But the Sony NP750 batteries, they don't power this light at all. You maybe get an hour, so you need to use the 970s. But if you have 2 sets, you won't even need the power cord. Which brings me to one of the downsides again of this light is the build quality is not that great. I pushed the power cord in too hard and it broke the fixture in the back of the light. Now I have to mess around with it to get it to light up, and it would be a big issue except for the fact that battery life is so wonderful. So it's kind of hit and miss. Now let's talk about this light from a bicolor perspective. Now, this is probably one of the biggest downsides to this light. First of all, the color. The color is just not accurate at all. Watch the huge jump from 55 to 54. There's a huge jump in color, way more than 100 stop of Kelvin. I don't think this is 5600K. I don't have a light meter, but I have fixed bulbs of 5500K. I'm sorry, I don't think this is 5500K. I have fixed bulbs that are 5500K and the lighting just doesn't match. And then it's the same way at the other end. As soon as you get down, it just turns completely yellow. I mean, there's a huge jump in color. I mean, that just looks like that's more yellow than the yellow on the RGB section. So, and then the other problem is that when you try to use it at 5500K, as you can see, it's not very bright at all because it's only running on one set of the LEDs, and you lose a lot of your brightness. Now, another problem with the bicolor section is there's no dimming. See how it's just either on or off? Like, that's brightness at 100. Now, that's brightness at 0. Like, there's really no dimming when it comes to the bicolor mode, which kind of sucks because it's just either on or off, and that really defeats the purpose of having a dimmable light. I mean, what's the point of it being dimmable if it's just going to be on all the time? That just really doesn't make any sense. So one of the other problems with this light is the stair stepping. It's atrocious. When you put the panel on a wall, you'll see it. It's hard to show it on this background here, but when you're looking at it just with the naked eye, it's absolutely horrible. You can see just clear lines where the shade steps down. The stair stepping is atrocious. The barn doors don't help with it at all. Either does the diffusion panel. The barn doors don't cut light at all, so they're pretty much useless except for protecting the light, and they're kind of a pain in the ass to put on. So as I thought I was gonna have to return the light. So as far as a bicolor light, this thing is sorely lacking. But because it's such an awesome RGB light, it kind of makes up for it. Now, it's not that bright either, so if you're wanting to use this thing to fill a whole room or light something outside, you're gonna have to look somewhere else. If you're doing like food photography, tabletop product photography, anything like that, this light is awesome. It's small, it's portable, you can stand it up on its own, you can put it on a light stand. I've used it to take all sorts of food photography pictures, product lighting, any small tabletop lighting. I took this light to a couple weddings and set it up for a brief moment to film the makeup artist putting on the makeup for the bride and the groom and the bridesmaids, and they absolutely loved it because it helped their makeup. So if you're like a makeup artist or something like that, this light is awesome. It's more than bright enough to shine. You can use it for a key light, but like I said, getting the diffuse softbox to go with this is an absolute must. It gets rid of all the stair stepping. It gets rid of all the problems except for the dimming and the color issues. And with the diffuse softbox, this diffuse softbox here, this thing is absolutely incredible. It's collapsible. It was like 20 bucks, and it makes all the difference with this light. So, would I recommend this light? Well, it just depends on what you're using it for. I bought this to be nothing more than an accent RGB light, and an occasional food photography or key light until I get a nicer key light like an aperture or COB chip on board light or something like that, that can really output a lot of high quality, high color accuracy light. In the meantime, this works just fine. So would I recommend this light? Yes and no. Just depends. There's, like I showed you, there's a lot of things to be aware of that nobody seemed to mention in any of their other videos for the reviews on this. So I just thought I would mention a lot of this stuff because to me, this stuff is important. I don't just point the light at a wall and just change and dial through the colors. Like, that's useless to me. So are unboxing videos. That's why I didn't do one. You do get this nice hard case, which is nice to store the light in. Gives you more than enough space to put a few extra batteries and put the softbox in because it collapses down. So yeah, alright guys, I hope this was useful to you. I hope it wasn't too awfully negative. I just wanted to be realistic about this light and cover some of the points that no one else seemed to talk about. You can follow me on YouTube at Northwest Videographer. Alright guys, have a good one. Give this review a thumbs up. Make sure and follow me. Go to my YouTube channel. Check out some of my other product reviews. Alright, peace out.